Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deep Thinking YouTube channel, a YouTube channel where we discuss and speculate about the deepest thoughts about our universe. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing more universe theories, but more specifically, we're going to be discussing alien life in the sense of, are we early in the universe and is life rare, or is life common and we're late in the universe? Or vice versa, and we're going to mix and match all of these different aspects of life that could change the way that we navigate through the universe, because it is very relevant of a discussion whether life is extremely rare or extremely common, because it kind of just shows what kind of environment we're going to be interacting with, and if it is common and if it is rare, what are the reasons for the reason that we don't see life? Because on the rare side of it, there's it's rare, like there's reasons why we won't have seen life. But obviously, if it's common, you've got to start thinking, why have we not seen very, very technologically advanced species? Well, we'll start off with that first. One, plain and simple, is that the universe doesn't permit faster than light travel. And, everyone's going around at 99% at the speed of light. And whatever species arise and whether it's common, life may be common, right? But who's saying that intelligent life is common? Because it seems like, I personally believe that in the areas where life can arise, it will, but it's all dependent on the environment and how it changes, and how optimal the environment is for life to thrive is whether it will span into complex life and then further into becoming an intelligent species. And it has to be the right combinations of DNA to create something that, I guess, ended up like us. We don't know how rare that is. Potentially we could be the only ones in the galaxy, and meaningfully, nothing's going to want to travel to us if there is no faster than light travel, because, of course, we know that our galaxy is 100,000 light years across. Like, that's a hell of a long time. That's 100,000 years across. It's probably not going to take exactly 100,000 years to get to us, but it's still going to take like 70,000 years. We're in a certain point where it's like, obviously we wouldn't be at one point, we're not like right at the edge of the galaxy, so we'll just say it's like 70,000 years to arrive here for a species, even if they're in the same galaxy, right? They're not going to do it. They're not going to spend 70,000 years trying to get to some planet just to meet some aliens that may just shoot at them when they get there, or may even become ridiculously advanced by the time they get there. Or, if the technology is possible, then by the time they get there, their species will have already visited, and then you've just wasted a bunch of generations just being on a generational ship. But in this hypothetical we're talking about, in this scenario, the universe doesn't permit faster than light travel. So it's just, we're screwed. When there's no faster than light travel, and let's say the only way that we can travel to absolutely vast interstellar distances is to other galaxies and other places in the universe that aren't a part of the Milky Way galaxy. It seems as if, there would have to be faster than light travel or wormholes. And wormholes might just kill you if you try to travel through it. And even if you are able to develop a technology where you can navigate a wormhole, you're just going to end up on the opposite side of the universe, or ridiculously far away from your local star system or local galaxy that you exist within, and potentially you're throwing yourself into a place where nothing is going to be around there. So there's going to be no resources, no water, none of the stuff that we as humans need. Of course, straight away you're going to be throwing a probe in the wormhole if that's what you're doing, and then obviously we'd test and because people would want to leave the galaxy for sure and span out. But it's likely if somebody went through a wormhole and it was only temporary, it'd be more likely that it'd be a one-way trip, and it's just like, okay, we'll give you a load of stuff and then you just go set up some colony in another galaxy, and potentially our species may meet back up in millions to billions of years time, maybe even more than that, maybe trillions of years of time. So I don't personally think that it's that impossible that interactions between intelligent species, advanced civilizations, doesn't happen, because it's just far too vast for us to even notice them, let alone we may be looking for the wrong things, because we automatically assume that everything's going to go on a grandiose scale, but it could be possible that it goes to nanotechnology size and everything becomes maybe even subatomic at a certain level, and their technology is insanely small. You don't know what if it is that way, and we have nanotechnology and nanites just doing the stuff for us, like probes going to different star systems that are practically undetectable to a species that doesn't have the technology to detect it. Then how the hell do you know that there's not probes all around everywhere? I know that's just saying, that's the point. You wouldn't know what you're seeing because the technology is so advanced. People love to say the age-old thing, take a phone back, try and explain the internet to somebody from 100 years ago. They're not going to know what you're talking about, let alone taking, bringing a person from the hunter-gatherer stages or the caveman era to this day and age. They're not going to recognize us as the same species because our access to information and our access to technology and innovations has become a lot greater. So it's just like, we may be seeing all the evidence we could ever need to see, but we cannot analyze the evidence yet because we don't have the technology to do so. So that could be another one for the reason that it's common in the universe. And I'll do one more, and that could be the dark forest hypothesis. Sorry about that. The dark forest hypothesis is basically essentially like a jungle, right? A prey animal in a jungle does not go around shouting like, "Yo, who's in the forest? Who's in the forest, man? What's going on here?" Like we do with the SETI things, like, well, not SETI, METI, I think it's called, the one where they send out the signals. I'm always a guy who's like, we should never be sending out signals because there's no point of giving away our planet's location. I mean, I'm even down for, like, I've watched, like, I don't know what exactly the science behind this thing that I'm about to say. One moment. I don't know the exact science behind it, but I did read something once where it's like you can disguise the planet from other, potential observers, like in a certain way. Obviously, I wish I could have explained it to you, but it was such a long time ago that I read this article, right? But it's just, to me, that kind of stuff makes sense to do, and maybe it makes sense to a lot of other intelligent species because they go from their own experiences. We can't go from experiences that we have not had. Like, we can only know our own experiences of, okay, the human species is quite aggressive. We're the only super intelligent species. Well, we're not super intelligent, but you know what I mean. We're the only predominantly more intelligent species that is lucid in their lives, conscious thinking, who can go around and, develop a civilization and fly to space and all this, that, and the other. We know that we're aggressive to each other, and we're like the most aggressive creatures on the planet. How we are is just aggressive. We think about going to another world and colonizing it, right? But if there's life, even life in the sense of just like complex life, like animals, we'd see it as, it's just these animals, we'll just go live there anyway, it doesn't really matter. But it's just like, we're not even from that planet. Technically, that's their planet. Yeah, there's probably a reason that intelligent life didn't thrive there. Yeah, we can change it and adapt it, but it just kind of shows our nature, the fact that we just stake our claim at places, and that's what you do when you like this, I guess, like humans are. You just go stake your claim of a place, and it's the age-old thing. That's what they want to colonize space. Colonizing space is not a bad thing. I'm not saying it is a bad thing to go around and colonize planets. I'm not saying that at all. Going and wiping out a species and taking their planet is pretty stupid because, there's so many planets in the galaxy, let alone the observable universe. So it's just like, there's plenty of places for us to all exist at the exact same time. So I would hope that, basically the point that I was trying to make is that with the dark forest hypothesis, it could be possible that most species just opt to disguise themselves because there is super advanced tyrannical species that roam the galaxy and roam maybe not the galaxy, but roam the observable universe, and hell, even of course probably the unobservable universe and potentially infinite universe, stealing resources, taking resources. It wouldn't surprise me. Why would there not be a species that would do something like that? And then on the other end of the spectrum, if life is common, why would there not be a species also that's super peaceful? But the one that's super evil is probably more likely to have, greater weapons, I guess, but the ones that are more peaceful probably have a more sustained and optimal society for each individual. But, you know, the ones that are going around killing other species are probably the ones that would win because they invested all of their resources into building weapons, because they just thought to themselves, well, you know, if we're the ones with the power in the universe, then nobody else can take it away from us, and we're not going to get wiped out. So it makes sense why, you know, it's why people have armies all around the world. You know, you would hope that no one would need armies to fight each other, and realistically they probably shouldn't. We shouldn't be fighting each other to the point of killing each other over stupid political squabbles. We should be having a genuine discussion about everything, because we all co-inhabit this planet, right? You know, and it's just, it could be the same. You know, they could have a similar experience of life, or, you know, in their own different way, but essentially it's somewhat similar. But it also could be radically different, and they have no similar morals and ethics to us. Hell, they could see us as a nice tasty meal, you never know. But resource wise, I don't know if they'd be coming here, because there's abundant resources in the universe, enough for them to not want to. But now we will discuss life being rare. Life being rare, or potentially, hell, us even being the earliest stage of intelligent life, at least in any kind of distance that is relevant for us at this moment in time. I do believe that could be possible. I do believe that it could be possible that we might be the only intelligent species in the galaxy. If we're not, I think the other intelligent species would be around the somewhat similar level of what we are at right now. Maybe most life arose, you know, around the galaxy at a similar time, perhaps, you know, or maybe not. Maybe it is just us, and we just have to navigate our way through the universe, knowing the fact that we have a lot of places that we can head to, a lot of places that we can, you know, spread our species to if we want to keep spreading our DNA across the universe. Perhaps that's what we will do, and, you know, that seems like the thing that will probably happen, because it's just, hell, it's been the same since microbe days. Like, you know, we just multiply and span out. And it's the same when it became complex life. You know, they were in the water, then they span out onto land, and then they span out into all these different jungles and deserts and all these environments around. They all originated from microbes. So it's just like, you know, eventually we're going to span out, and just see us as adapting, evolving life as well. We are the same as those microbes, except, you know, our reactions and stuff are more precise, I guess, and, you know, we have more choice over where we go, I guess. You know, there's always going to be things that adapt and change, but we can kind of shape and dictate how we're going to evolve a little bit, because if we focus more on space stuff, you know, potentially the human body might become used to space exploration, or we innovate things to help us to become used to space exploration, etc., etc., etc. Because to me it seems, you know, people want to live. Everybody wants to live their life. It's ingrained in you to reproduce, because that is what life does, you know. That's how the, you know, single cell life, this is what people believe, you know. I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to try and butcher it, but, you know, the first cells or whatever, they you know, just split in half, and then they were able to mate and make other ones, you know. And that's how it worked. It's just, life is crazy, man. It finds a way of just being in places randomly. So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if we you know, we span out over the universe. You know, probably not the entire universe, because it's doubtful that we could inhabit the entirety of the universe, but, you know, we can probably inhabit multiple star systems, multiple planets, but it just depends who we encounter, depends what it's like, you know, and whether they're even able to have a dialogue with us, because if they're not, then we may as well stay away from them. Because if you can't have a dialogue, you can coexist with people that you don't have a dialogue with, but you should just be like staking out territory, like, yeah, we can't have a dialogue, but it's just like, yeah, you're not coming into our territory, or we're not coming to your territory, because that's how it'll be. And that's the kind of the way I can see it going, because, you know, I can't imagine most species are going to be able to have a conversation. I always wonder if out there in the universe there is other intelligent species that look exactly the same as us. you know, and people will say, okay, if the universe is infinite, there is other versions of yourself, you know, like the multiverse. It's just like, yeah, I think that's a thing. Yeah, it could be definitely a thing. I'm a avid, probably. I think the multiverse probably is genuinely a thing, but it's just, if there is, or they're just like within the parameters of, you know, the observable. I guess it just doesn't matter, because either the universe is infinite or not. We just don't have the access to information to know if it's infinite or not. So we either just like discover if it's infinite, or we never do. Like, just because we never discover it's infinite or not, you have to prove that it isn't infinite. Like, you can't just, you got to prove that it is infinite, but you've also got to prove that it isn't infinite. Do you know what I mean? Because if you don't know if it's infinite or not, you can always make that speculation. So, you know, it's likely that we'll never know, because, you know, the unobservable is unobservable for a reason, because it's too far away to observe. You know, it's just, we haven't had the time. We haven't had the time to observe it, like in the time that the universe has existed. So it's just, that's just the way that it is sometimes. I really hope that we can actually just like navigate our way around the universe in a good way, because no matter which one that happens, it's pretty. I do think alien life existing, alien life not existing is scarier than it existing, in my opinion. You know, the famous quote is like, both are equally terrifying. I don't think they're equally terrifying. I think it's more terrifying if you're alone. Way more terrifying if you're alone. I suppose it's actually not. Technically, implication-wise, probably not, because it means, A, you were placed there by some kind of deity or creator. B, it's a simulation. You know, that's what I'd be thinking in my head. Like, or, you know, it's just random chance. You know, people would say the most likely one is random chance, but I'd be like, really? Even a chance thing, it's likely that something else would exist with how much other star systems and stuff that there is. So, you know, maybe it is a simulation. Who knows? Maybe it is God. I don't know. You can come up with those conclusions yourself. I'm not trying to tell you exactly what to believe. I'm just trying to get you to think about these cool ideas about aliens, cool ideas about space exploration and technology, and just the future of human species, and how the past influenced our future. Because that's literally all we can do. We can look at the past, be analytical. We should always be very, very analytical of the past, because the past is the past, and people did what they did, and, you know, people are still a bit brutal now, but it's calmed down a little bit. We've still got negative things going on all the time that I wish that we could prevent, and I wish that would stop happening all of the time. But hopefully that can change, and we can just start to, you know, focus our attention on stuff that really, really matters, rather than just political squabbles and people trying to get power and all this. You know, it's understandable. We're all allowed to like our own things, but you're not allowed to like the deaths of innocent people. Like, that's, you know, and things that exploit people and X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm trying to say. You know, we've all got our different things that we enjoy doing. Like, I enjoy talking about space. I enjoy martial arts. I enjoy, you know, other sports. I enjoy video games. You know, going for hikes and walks, and you know, I enjoy a lot of things, hanging out with my friends, and I'm sure you all enjoy lots of many different things as well. And, you know, you wish you could spend your life doing those things and, you know, not really have too much to worry about. And realistically, our species, again, is not our species, our generation is laying down the groundwork for an even more chill future for our descendants, I presume, because our ancestors were laying down the groundworks of a foundation for us to exist in a society where I can sit here at my computer and just talk onto a device, you know, and I'm not even worrying about, like, there's food in my fridge. If not, I can go to the shop, and hell, even if not, you know, we still somewhat know how to survive. You know, not people don't know as much how to survive anymore, but, you know, it's just, if you've learned a little bit about survival before, it's just like, you can kind of maybe somewhat survive, but we don't need to have that necessity of survival like they had, and they probably would have no idea that the people in the future would not be thinking about survival and thinking about how hungry they are all the time and stuff. Of course, around the globe there is, and that should not be a thing, and we all know that, and we all know that we can solve world hunger whenever. Like, that was one of the shockingest realizations in my life, though, knowing that we can just prevent that, and we don't. So it's really disappointing to me that, you know, the integrity of our species is being spat all over. But, you know, what can we do? We can, I guess, protest about it and we can try and make change, but as long as there's scumbags at the top of the political system, you know, pushing their own agenda, then there's always going to be terrible repercussions for the average citizen. But it's been about 20 minutes and this has been a fun discussion, so I appreciate you all so very, very much for watching this video. Make sure you have a wonderful day. Peace out. I love you all. Goodbye.